Game hosting the Commanders at Lincoln Financial Field Sunday at 3 o'clock. Can't wait, but we have a lot to unpack, and I love this hour that we get to share with our man from Inside the Birds and all over the place here on 97.5 The Fanatic, Andrew DiCecco. Andrew, good morning, brother. What's going on?
Good morning, guys. Great to be with you. Big win yesterday, huh?
Yeah, definitely a big win.
And very positive fans this morning.
Yes.
Okay, that was my next question.
Much better than last week.
Very No, it's not even recognizable.
Yeah, the script is flipped.
Extremely
I was going to ask you guys for a temperature check, but that's good to hear.
I would say,
with a win like that, and you're going to the NFC Championship game, I mean, what could you really?
People are ready to go.
I'd say 80% positive.
Yeah.
And I think that there is 20% that's absolutely you can critique and you can be very valid.
Yeah, you could critique, and we will break this game down. But before we do that, I had John talk about it, Andrew, but I would like to get your firsthand account yesterday as well. Yesterday was more than just a game to cover, obviously with the snow, and it was a playoff game. Just tell us your firsthand account on the experiences that you had throughout the game. You got there a little bit later than John because you stuck around for the first hour of the pregame show. We appreciate it. So what was life for Andrew DiCecco like leading up to Lincoln Financial Field throughout the game, and, of course, once the snow starts coming down?
Well, for one, leaving Xfinity was a disaster. There's people everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I had to kind of, full back my way out of there.
Yeah, you had to get back to your football instincts.
Right. But then it was really just sleet for most of the first quarter, and you start to wonder, okay, is this snowstorm going to be a bust? And then all of a sudden, the snow starts to fall down, starts to trickle down, and then it starts to really hammer over Lincoln Financial Field, really coating the end zones. At halftime, they had leaf blowers they were using for the hash marks. Yeah. So I took a video of that, and I tried to keep informing the audience, who I'm sure was curious as to how the Eagles were handling the NFL really was handling the conditions there. And then in the third quarter, it started to look like a snow globe, where the snow was just whipping around everywhere.
It was going in all directions.
It was crazy, right? I mean, like, that kind of puts into perspective how difficult those kicks were for Jake Elliott, because those conditions were extremely challenging. And the fact that they had to, clear off the spots for him, like they never had to do that. They kind of had to all pitch in to make it work. But
it wasn't like the Patriots Day either, when they had the whole snow plow. Remember the snow plow that gave what was it?
They had the little snow blower.
Yeah, to whoever the kid. Vinatieri, right?
Yeah, of course.
But no, the Eagles yesterday, they used their hands, man.
Jordan Mailata got in there. He used his
fingers in the dirt.
And then I have to tell you, this game I'll always remember. That 78-yard Saquon Barkley touchdown run where he's galloping through the snow. When he hits the 25-yard line, he's tapping his helmet multiple times. And to me, it was almost like he came to the realization that, I just did my part, and we're probably going to reach the NFC title game. I just thought that was an all-time moment. And when he does make the Hall of Fame, that will be a clip that you can expect him to play.
There was the energy in that building, both of Saquon's runs and Jalen's run.
Jalen's run was awesome, too.
It shook the building. Like
early,
the
too.
fans were into it, and it got very exciting.
Now, John, you heard it. You could hear a pin drop on that final drive. Really, the last 4 minutes or so.
It was anxious. The building was silent.
It was.
And then they'd hype it up, and then everybody would exhale, and then it would get loud again. But there was such an anxiousness. That game felt like the Falcon game. Felt like the second Commander game, that stupid decisions, not knowing clock management, put them in a position to be able to win a game. Oh, and of course, Jake, not making extra points.
Made big field goals, but the extra points, man.
That defense, they have to be saying to themselves, we've been in a lot of these, because John talks about the Falcons game, there's the Commanders game, there's the Jacksonville game that they were able to.
Kobe Dean has the interception.
Right, and then there's the Panthers game where they have the Xavier Leggett drop.
Yep.
So it was sort of like, here we go again, but the Eagles were able to pull it out.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And to that point at the end there, I texted John, Connor, and Brendan, begun, during the game yesterday, something that I was worried about. That emotional high that you feel when Saquon Barkley scores. You even just said it. Saquon Barkley scores and probably has that realization, wow, I just sent my team the NFC Championship game. I think everybody inside Lincoln Financial Field said, we're going to the NFC Championship game. I think every player thought that they were going to the NFC Championship game. What was Vic Fangio doing on that second to last drive for the Rams where he allows them to just march downfield with ease.
Yeah, and
Then you have to try to get back into the game again.
And you illustrated that really well in your Instagram video, which everybody should see that because
Really good.
It's you in the moment, and I thought that you were able. All your thoughts were very well composed.
Thank you very much.
What I would say is that the conditions were awful at the end of that game, and defensive backs were really struggling to find their footing there. And you really saw it with Slay, who had a heck of a game.
Amazing.
He played all 71 defensive snaps. Darius Slay needs a ton of credit for that.
Doesn't
for
get
what
enough
he was able to do.
credit
And
in
he
this
didn't
city,
limp
man.
off. He didn't limp off with like an injury for.
And that's the other part of it, John. He knew there was no Quinyon Mitchell. He had to, no matter what, stay in that game. Isaiah Rodgers, and we'll get into this in a second. I spoke to him after the game. He gutted it out because they all knew that they were relying on each other to seal the deal and win that game. But I think that a lot of it had to do with traction, Andrew, and like we talked about in the pregame show, they weren't able to pin their ears back and move forward, and the corners were really struggling with their traction.
So was it more of a, hey, don't give up a big play here, let's play soft?
Nothing over your head.
It was soft. Isaiah, though. Calf?
So he said he caught a cramp.
Off and then he came in, and then he cramped.
He said he caught a cramp and his leg locked up, but that he was fine. He goes, this is...
Because he didn't do that poorly.
No, he said it's winter, go home.
Right.
And Keely Ringo briefly went out there, but Isaiah was there to finish the game.
Well, when Rodgers goes down, he grabs his leg immediately. We're all like, uh-oh.
Right.
Yeah, I had somebody that asked me, they said, is it severe? And I was like, no, he's out there. He's out there now. I see him on the sideline walking around, then he went out there for the ensuing drive. But, yeah, that could have been really bad. You could have been down to, your third outside corner.
Yeah.
I don't know why Quinyon wasn't back out for the second half. I understand being out for the game, and it was precautionary from what we're hearing.
Right. Well, I spoke to Quinyon after the game very briefly, and he said, I'm good. And then I said, well, what happened with the shoulder? And he said, I heard it making a tackle.
Right.
But
it was the Stafford one, and Stafford got up.
He got up
from
gingerly,
that, like
too.
he was ginger.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was in the locker room and that he spoke to a couple of us is always a good sign. Yeah. So
but why would he not have been out in the sidelines for the second half?
That was odd, and the fact that it was very delayed. It was well into the second half, I believe, that they said he was
out. Yeah, officially.
And when Hurts went in the tent for the knee, I've never seen so many cameras over near that blue tent waiting for him to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it looked horrible. I don't know how good of a view you guys got from the press box. I know they have TVs
Only
in
on
there.
the review did I see.
Dude, it looked bad. And when I saw him go down and limping off, I said, uh-oh. And my first thought was, when are they going to show the Kenny Pickett shot?
That's what I was looking for as well.
Yes, you saw
And I know
that.
he did warm up a little.
Oh, he did.
did.
No,
Yeah.
he did. He did. But when he came out of that tent, Jalen was like, get the hell out of my way. I got a team to go quarterback. So they knew that they had enough.
And I thought he was really in trouble. I texted you guys this. Now, eventually they did tush push, and they got in, but Lane Johnson had the false start. There was like two opportunities they could have tush pushed where they normally would have, and they didn't do it. And I was like, oh, dude, Jalen's knee must be busted
Here's
if
what
they're
I
not
don't
doing
understand.
this.
Doesn't Saquon literally like squat as much as Jalen?
Yeah, I mean, and
Why
that was one of the benefits.
Why don't you tush push with Saquon?
Well, he's got to
as if
practice
he
that.
needs
You
it.
can't just
as if he needs it
in the snow.
No, you're saying practice it,
Or
Then
just, traditional
you have
short
all
yardage.
year to practice it.
Yeah, or just traditional
You've got all
short
year
yardage
to think
running.
about that. You think about things, Andrew, before they happen. You don't think about them like, oh, well, we never practiced
I'm
that.
not having Saquon take a snap under center, tush push.
No, they could have lined it up traditionally, though, and do the short yardage.
Yeah, no, that's
and
fine.
just said, then just have Saquon do it. I mean, it's like it's
He weighs 230
or a
pounds. I
direct,
think.
or direct snap right to him
how
or
many
something.
How many times has Saquon Barkley this year failed? What percentage of his carries has he failed to not get a yard? And in that situation, not getting a yard.
Very few.
I mean, come on.
Well, that's what they ran on the third down, right? Before they got called for the false start. They ran Saquon short yardage and he didn't get in.
Didn't get in, yeah.
Yeah, but it's once again the idea that just it shouldn't be. That was 2nd and 3 after that first down play.
Right.
They're 2nd and goal from the 3. And I didn't understand the play call.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Part of the benefits of signing someone like Saquon Barkley is so that you can utilize him to pick up those short yardage situations so you don't have to continually expose your quarterback to unnecessary hits.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And yesterday, obviously, concerning with the knee, but I guess, does something come out? John says they won't say anything. I imagine there's a Rappaport or somebody that gets the text straight from Howie.
This morning, probably.
Yeah, he suffered a sprain, but good to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. You heard Jalen after the game, and that was about as lukewarm of an answer that you're going to get from Jalen Hurts. I should be good. We'll have to see how it happens. But, I mean, he's not missing that game.
No, he's playing. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about
Thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.